Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your betting game by hitting that subscribe button and ensure you never miss out on our daily content. Want exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join our Patreon. Links are waiting for you in the comment section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. When analyzing the New York Giants versus Dallas Cowboys matchup, we have to look at the state of both teams, their struggles, and the potential for an outcome that feels almost inevitable. The Giants are in complete disarray, and despite all the hopes in New York, they've been reduced to a team with a 2-9 record, tying them for the worst record in the NFL alongside the Jaguars and Raiders. It's been a tough season for Big Blue, and things only seem to be getting worse as they head into Thursday night's game. Let's talk about the Giants' offense first. They are last in the league in scoring, averaging just 14.8 points per game. That's a reflection of how dysfunctional their entire offensive unit has been this season. Tommy DeVito, who's taken over the starting quarterback role after the Giants cut ties with Daniel Jones, was abysmal in his debut against Tampa Bay last week. DeVito didn't throw for a touchdown and wasn't even able to throw an interception, which just speaks to how ineffective the Giants' offense has become. If that wasn't bad enough, DeVito is now nursing a forearm injury, which has put his availability for Thursday's game in question. If he can't go, Drew Lock will be the next man up. Yes, Drew Lock, who has barely seen any meaningful action this season. In addition to the quarterback issues, the Giants' ground game has been underwhelming, with Tyrone Tracy Jr. leading the charge but not really providing much of a spark. The Giants rank 19th in rushing yards per game, 115.9, but given their struggles to sustain drives, they can't seem to put any pressure on opposing defenses. And let's not forget about the passing attack, which ranks a dismal 5th worst in the NFL with only 187.9 yards per game. When you combine that with a shaky offensive line and no real deep threats, it's clear why the Giants have had such a hard time moving the ball. Looking over at the Cowboys, things haven't been much better. They're sitting at 4-7 on the year, but they're still in a much better position than the Giants, even if that isn't saying much. The Cowboys have had their own issues, particularly with their running game, which has been non-existent for most of the season. They're ranked second to last in rushing offense with just 82.5 yards per game. However, they've got a more stable situation at quarterback with Cooper Rush, who has filled in for Dak Prescott since Dak's hamstring injury. Rush has been decent, throwing for 813 yards, 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in 7 games. While he's not a superstar, Rush has been capable of protecting the ball, which is something the Giants' defense hasn't been able to do: force turnovers. On defense, the Cowboys have had their own struggles, particularly against the run. They're allowing 150.5 rushing yards per game, which is the second worst mark in the NFL. But overall, they still have some playmakers. Micah Parsons and DeMarvion Overshown have 5 sacks each, and linebacker Eric Kendricks is leading the team with 97 tackles. The Cowboys' defense has forced 8 turnovers on the year, and they'll be hoping to capitalize on a Giants' offense that has been turnover-prone and ineffective. Now, let's look at the betting trends. The Cowboys may be 3-7-1 against the spread, ATS, this season, but they're still a better team than the Giants in every aspect of the game. They've struggled at home, 0-5 against the spread at home this year, but this is a golden opportunity for them to snap that streak. The Cowboys looked much better last week in their win against Washington, especially in the second half, where they put up 27 points and won a chaotic game. If they can carry that momentum into this Thursday's game, the Giants simply won't have the firepower to keep up. For the Giants, they're 2-8-1 against the spread and have struggled to cover in most games. They've been underdogs in most of their games this season and have failed to cover in 5 of their 6 games when getting 4 points or less. Their offense is a mess, and their defense can't make the key stops. If the Cowboys jump out to a quick lead, there's little chance the Giants will be able to mount a comeback. Pick Dallas to cover -3.5. Even though the Cowboys have their own issues, they have more talent across the board than the Giants, and they'll exploit New York's lack of playmaking ability. I'm confident the Cowboys will handle business at home in this one. Pick over 37.5 points. Despite both teams struggling defensively, this total seems too low, especially with both offenses having enough potential to move the ball against two of the NFL's weaker defenses. The Cowboys' defense has been leaky, and the Giants will likely give up some big plays in what could turn into a high-scoring affair. Given both teams' inability to consistently stop the opposition, this game should push the total over. The Miami Dolphins have clawed their way back into playoff contention after a rough stretch, winning 3 consecutive games. Their record is now 5-6, with hopes of a wild card spot still alive, though the AFC East title seems increasingly unlikely given Buffalo's dominant 9-2 record. Miami's recent victories over the Rams, 23-15, Raiders, 34-19, and Patriots, 34-15, show that they've found some form, and Tua Tagovailoa's return after missing 4 games with a concussion has been a key factor. The young QB has thrown for 1,760 yards with a solid 73.3% completion rate, 13 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. His connection with Tyreek Hill, who has 49 catches for 571 yards and 3 touchdowns, is one of the NFL's most explosive duos, though Hill's wrist injury may impact his availability for this game. On the ground, De'Von Achane has been a solid contributor, running for 562 yards and 3 touchdowns, but Miami's success will come down to their passing attack. Defensively, Miami is holding teams to 21.5 points per game, 11th in the league, and limiting yards to 304.5 per game, 7th. However, they've been vulnerable at times, and facing a high-caliber team like the Green Bay Packers will test their defense, especially with the Packers having a well-rounded offense led by Jordan Love. Love has thrown for 2,244 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, with Jaden Reed emerging as a reliable target. The Packers' running game, led by Josh Jacobs, 944 yards, 7 touchdowns, remains strong, keeping opponents honest with a balanced attack. Green Bay enters this game with an 8-3 record, riding a 2-game win streak, including a dominant 38-10 victory over San Francisco. Their defense has been solid, allowing just 20.3 points per game, 10th, but their pass defense is a bit more suspect. Ranked 18th in yards allowed per attempt, 7.2, 16th in opposing completion percentage, 65.2%, and 14th in YAC, 1,176 yards. They will face a Miami passing attack that is explosive when healthy. The absence of top cornerback Jaire Alexander, concussion, is a significant blow, and it gives Tua and his receiving core a clear advantage. When looking at the betting lines, Green Bay is favored by 3.0 to 3.5 points, and considering the volatility of NFL games and how close this matchup could be, it's crucial to shop for favorable numbers. A plus 3.5 spread for Miami gives us a full field goal, which is more than enough value, especially considering how close Miami has played in recent weeks. Pick Miami Dolphins plus 3.5. While Green Bay is a formidable team, I'm not sure their defense will be able to contain Miami's passing game, especially with the Packers missing one of their best defenders. I wouldn't be shocked to see Miami win outright, and the Dolphins have enough firepower to cover the spread. Prediction: under 47 points. Despite both teams having dynamic offenses, both are also committed to running the ball and controlling the clock. Green Bay is the 5th most run-heavy team, while Miami ranks 13th. With both defenses allowing fewer than 21.5 points per game, I expect a more methodical, run-first approach, especially with the chilly conditions in Green Bay. The total seems a bit high for a matchup where both teams may focus on the ground game and ball control. I predict this game ends around 24-21, well under the total.